we are here to talk about the recent production of the Sons of Dorian.
Oh, good. I'm still in costume.
That's amazing. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, good.
Amazing.
Now it's something else.
This is the full in your final form.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, I would like to talk about the whole process.
I like to see Sons of Dorian like as something holy, right? And I did divide it in my head as Old Testament and New Testament because we've been doing this play for over a year now, and everything changed so much.
Because initially the play was very, very different from what it ended up being,
because
right?
first was just the picture of Dorian Gray in Punch Theatre.
Talk us more about that.
Yeah, so everything was constructed differently. We would basically follow the events that are in a novel, but with all our own device process that we always do, creative, that we always do in our course, acting and theatre making. So we would basically take the whole events of the novel and explore individually with the characters. We create new characters. The devil, that would be my character. That is a lot of movement animal work rather than speaking as a spoken character.
So it's much more movement based.
Yeah, and that's what you get in the New Testament as well. In a cheese, it's
Cheese is like the character you were playing in the
exactly. Cheese in Sons of Dorian. It is basically a very traumatized human being that became Darius' pet. And that's why between the devil and cheese they can be relatable, not for the individual intentions but because of their own movements, because it's very animal work, and it can be explosive, and like that's why like I found that mutual connection between them. But what I was gonna say is that in terms of journey of the play from the beginning, the picture of Dorian Gray into Sons of Dorian changed a lot of times due to COVID situation. We try to find like magical solutions to make this happen, and the final solution, not the Nazi solution, was that this play would be done into a film, but not a film. It would be a devised theater recorded in camera.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. However, I'd like to know more about it. I mean, we know that there wasn't an initial script.
Yes.
So how did it come to life?
Scott came with the idea of doing the picture of Dorian Gray, and of course, as the course that we are, we don't want just to do the piece as it is. We want to give ourselves into the piece. So we extended that, creating new characters, etudes, proposals that was inspirations to actually scenes that we done into the final thing.
So the etudes and the proposals, I'd like to hear more about that, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, of course. So for example, one of the proposals was the protest that Stephen created, that we actually used for the final piece, not as it was, but as an inspiration. Another thing was that Tess' proposal as a song that we actually used for the final piece. So the more or less song of Leroy, that was actually a song that he created in level 4, and we became one of our final things in level 6. So that's really fulfilling.
So from what I can understand, there were like a lot of proposals and like a very small amount of them.
So every day we were supposed to submit proposals to Scott in class, and as he actually said, like this is like a sculpture, right? We take the bits that we don't want till we find the David.
The things that are not to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
You break brick by brick till you actually have David's statue, and that's what we have basically. Like is a really vice David statue, but that's what we created.
What does vice mean to you?
Vice to me means heart, soul, and originality.
Mm-hmm.
That's the three concepts of vice. Soul because you have to mean something to us, have to be meaningful to all the characters and to us actors in the play. Heart because we have to give something that the audience will take with them uh, towards all the scenes, towards everything, and originality because definitely this is a new concept that's been explored. I'm afraid to say not just in this course, but in actually in all entertainment business.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
that's primarily because of COVID.
Yeah,
What were like your biggest challenges? What were the things that you struggled with the most?
if we're gonna end up doing the piece or not because of the COVID situation, because Stephen Finn left us for medical reasons.
Mhm.
You know, because of all lockdowns, I was really unsure if this piece was gonna be performed. And even with myself was like a lot of challenge was just like, uh, am I good enough for this play? Am I good enough for this course? Um, because COVID really affects a person in terms of depression and everything
Yeah.
else. Um, so yeah, I definitely had that challenges, but at the same time, you know, like the positive thing was coming to class and all the energy in the room is so, you know, genuine and positive that you just become a part of it, even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's really positive, you know, like that's what really made me to be into it and give my 500%, if I'm willing to say. At least I tried to give my 500%.
So talking about group work, so this is a piece that has a lot of musical element in it.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of music involved in the piece, and and I would be very curious to know what was your contribution in it.
From the very first picture of Dorian Gray, in level 5, we already knew that we wanted to do something with music. So we tried the All Fortuna and All Leaves Are Brown. It would be a choir, and even without that, we would still have like, you know, the shouting and the screaming that would still be that kind of vocalized energy that would fill the room and the audience. So we definitely wanted something to do with music. Towards level 6, we understand that two pieces of Fortuna Leaves Are Brown are not fit anymore because we're not doing punch.
Yeah, it's a different play.
Yeah, it's a different play. So the crew I had that Scott also recommended came a thing. And that was something that all of us were really positive about, I think.
And you were like sort of the maestro of Kuahai in the actual piece.
In the actual piece, yeah. In the actual piece, because as I said before, I'm a pet of Darius. And I don't think that Darius does the things by himself. He orders other people to do it for him.
That's how cult leaders work,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what presidents do as well.
They
just
people
order,
with power.
Yeah,
power anyways.
People with power just order other people to do it, so they don't have the responsibility. But at the same time, like for example, I started to do that maestro thing at first, the way Ben and Scott told me that, or at least Ben told me that I would just be there with the cymbal, knocking the cymbal, you know, like, and just supervising as well. But then I really became part of it, you know, with the more times we were doing, instead of being lied down, I get stand up, and I was doing, and I was fully doing it, you know, like, and really supervising them. Yes, crew. Yeah, and it's really good energy when you give, you know, more to the other people because people give you things back as well.
Of course, I think it's being an actor that is eager to help the scene and the other actors. I think that gives a lot of you know, positive energy into the whole group, and I think you contributed very well with that.
Well, thank you. Like I did try my best. I tried to be like a part of the costumes team. Eventually, I was the first one, and then Max and Emily came along as well. That was also a difficult process because you wore isn't like you just want to have consensus. That's what I meant.
Yes.
You know, so I bring a lot of my stuff, like the drum, the guitars, the you know the xylophone or the xylophone. Yeah. You know, I bring all that stuff, and like the symbol that I actually went to the shop and John borrowed us. That was a really cool thing for him to do. Um, yeah, like I definitely wanted music in display as well. I actually contributed with a song that I wrote in the credit spots. That is about a losing of a brother and a golden angel, and so I do think it fits the play in some way, even though it's in different language. Like music is definitely like a part of the cult of any cult in general. Like if you analyze 60s and 70s cults, all of them have music implied to that because it's also something that gives you pleasure. Sex doesn't have to be the main tool that gives you pleasure. Sometimes music and movement is more pleasurable than actually sex.
So I'm assuming that during your exploration and research, you looked into like existing cults and saw how they work and
we did. We all of us did. We were separate in different groups.
So how did that information help you shape cheese?
Well, it helped me to understand that some people just follow other people blindly. Exactly. Even though that sometimes they doubt their leaders, they still follow because they believe that there's a light in the end of the tunnel.
And they have like nothing else to rely
on. Like the thing is, like, between choosing being despised of the rest of the world, or discriminated, or people being racist towards you, or having this guy that actually is not really a good guy, but still, loves you in some way, or at least he says that he cares for you. You will choose the person that says that care for you. So like, I think that's kind of cheese, because for me, the story that I created for cheese is this homeless guy that was a drug addict, and he left his family and his baby because of drugs and
so you could see cheese being a part of like an actual cult.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If someone would pass on the street and say, "I can give you everything you want,"
cheese would go.
Cheese would go. Cheese would go straight away. Especially because in this cult, in this play, drugs are there, and it's something that they do it freely, like with no problems at all. So I think cheese in that terms, you would be happy. But at the same time, like I think cheese is a good person, and I don't think that's the sex that people don't want to do it. He would be okay with that. He would just be okay because Daria says it's okay.
Yeah.
But I think personally, I don't think Cheesy would be okay, and that's why he leaves when Darius really needs his help. That's why he leaves, because he understands that that's not the world. He wants to live in. Yeah.
I mean, so now why don't we move on to so I'd like to talk about the different people you worked with in this production besides the cast. I'm of course talking about Zsara, Jaeger, Ben, and Scott, of course. So
Zsara Jaeger is the extraordinary cameraman that became a character as well. And like, we had to set up a full choreography for her, even though that I wasn't really specific with her in terms of angles and things like that, because she was just amazing finding that things by herself, or even Scott would recommend this, or even people from the class would recommend this or that. Ben created the choreography for me and Leroy in terms of the fight in capoeira. That was a thing that,
and I would say that's my favorite part of you in the production.
Really?
So I'm really interested to know how did that go. Like how was that developed?
Well, Scott always wanted with me and Leroy to play capoeira in some part. So
And also
So
how
it was
did,
really challenging.
and also how did that work to be put into a theater piece? Like
So
the
it
stage
was
combat.
really
Yeah.
challenging. First because of COVID situation, of course, and the camera angles that like is stage combat mixed with the capoeira. It can work, but at the same time it really demands from your body because like you expect to have your leg right up in the air, but it's something that I'm still developing. But it did work. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy that Scott chose us to do that bit. And yeah, and so many other bits that Ben also extended to us. For example, the plastics that, as I was saying earlier, it comes from lava and Gudowski, and these opposite forces that combine. You get all this what your body wants to do today, and then you explore your character, and then you feel your character, and you meet other characters, and there's connections over there towards this piece. Like I don't think I have a single character in this play that I didn't met once and try to connect once and do something with it, and because it would reward me, my character cheese, I mean, in some way, and I also would be giving something to them to play with as well. That's why Imogen and cheese has this relationship that it would be a different play.
Absolutely.
But they have this chemical effect.
What did you discover throughout this process as an actor? And at the same time, what was the change of cheese at the beginning of the play and the arc of your character?
So, like the discoveries in this play, I think was to see everybody growing, including myself, of course. But I think was from not believing in this play anymore because of COVID situation, and at the same time us trying to give 200%, 300%, everything we got to make this work, and to see people actually, from a seed getting into a flower. That was like a big discovery for me because I didn't know that that was possible. But for me, I think was definitely not believing of myself, and then starting to see that this actually works, and also was the fact that I was believing that cheese was this animal, and it became more human and more human to me towards the end.
So would you say that you took from this play? Like in 10 years, when you look back, what do you think that?
What I think I took from this play is I want to do more stuff like this. I want to create more stuff like this. It's not just do it, but create stuff like this. Scott inspired me enough to actually make this a thing. I never thought that I would be a director. I still don't think that way. What I mean is, as a creator of this kind of theater, and that's what I'm really looking forward to do in my professional career, because these kind of plays fulfill the audience, fulfill the artists, and give everyone a reason to be better.
That's very wholesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and also like you just highlight all the skills of everyone, and that's a really good thing for anyone that wants to see theater. So instead of having like a drama or comedy, you have everything in one play. And that's what I want to do. I want to portray these realities that people want to call it taboos or don't even want to speak about it, and create all these different dynamics that is sensible but is not so sensible that people can still watch it. I mean, and like it's fun. It's fun to play with. It's dreadful that it's already finished.
Absolutely. I mean, fun is the most important element in this.
Joy.
Joy
is the key
joy.
word.
Absolutely. Glad we could end on a hopeful note.
Yeah.